You'll believe any shit we tell you. You'll believe Kojak always gets the killer and nobody ever gets cancer in Archie Bunker's house. And your government isn't spraying the sky every day with fake cloud cover to deceive you about the true state of the climate collapse, how severe it is and how close we already are to the breaking point, to the brutal, bitter end. You'll believe that. You'll believe that your government isn't in bed with corporations that have destroyed everything. You'll believe it because you want to believe that. You don't want to believe that evil is a real problem and that it exists all throughout this world. Oh, Diane, that is good. In case anyone thinks I'm talking to myself here. I'm talking to you, Diane. Got an avocado toast coming here, and we're gonna go a little ways up, drive a little ways up back to St. Anne's to the labyrinth, because I don't know what's going on with the two videos I made. The one at the labyrinth and the one where I walk down the hill. But they both don't come up on my YouTube channel on my computer, but they do come up on my phone here, so that was like parts. I don't know what parts those were. I'm going to turn to this at quote-unquote random divination. I'm going to divine some truth here. That's right where I wanted to go, actually. I opened to this once before already. The most exemplary nature is that of the topsoil. It is very Christ-like in its passivity and beneficence, and in the penetrating energy that issues out of its peaceableness. It increases by experience, by the passage of seasons over it. Growth rising out of it and returning to it, not by ambition or aggressiveness. It is enriched by all things that die and enter into it. It keeps the past not as history or as memory, but as richness, new possibility. Its fertility is always building up out of death into promise. Death is the bridge or the tunnel by which its passage enters its future. To walk in the woods, mindful only of the physical extent of it, is to go perhaps as owner or as knower, confident of one's own history and of one's own importance, but to go there mindful as well of its temporal extent, of, wait for it, the age of it, and of all that led up to the present life of it, and of all that may follow it, is to feel oneself a flea in the pelt of a great living thing. The discrepancy between its life and one's own so great that it cannot be imagined. One has come into the presence of mystery. After all the trouble one has taken to be a modern man, one has come back under the spell of a primitive awe, wordless and humble. In the centuries before its settlement by white men, among the most characteristic and pleasing features of the floor of this valley and of the stream banks on its slopes were the forests and the groves of great beech trees, with their silver bark and their light graceful foliage turning gold in the fall. They were surely as lovely as any forests that ever grew on earth. I think so because I have seen their diminished descendants, which have returned to stand in the wasted places that we have so quickly misused and given up. But those old forests are all gone. We will never know them as they were. We have driven them beyond the turning to haunt us. We have driven them beyond the reach of our minds, only a vague hint of their presence returning to haunt us, as though in dreams, a fugitive rumor of the nobility and beauty and abundance of the squandered maidenhood of our world, so that do what we will never quite be satisfied ever again to be here. This country, as we have all made it by the pretense that we can do without it, as soon as we have completed its metamorphosis into cash, no longer holds even the possibility of such forests, for the topsoil that they made and stood upon like children piling up and trampling underfoot the fallen leaves is no longer here.